Yeah, I think it works, guys, and we're on the breakout here in a minute of having a bill that would give the president ability to tariff the largest purchasers of Russian oil and gas, and I hope he will use it. So I just want to, Pakistan. Are you aware of reports that Pakistan are allowing their bases to be used to park Iranian aircraft? General Kane?
Sir, I've seen one report on that.
Well, is it accurate?
Sir, I think based on the variety of classification matters.
Let me just say, do you agree if it is accurate, that is sort of inconsistent with it being a peace mediator?
Sir, I wouldn't want to comment on that based on the ongoing negotiations in Pakistan.
Thank you. I just want to start off with saying that these military operations against Iran have been spectacular. In a matter of months, we have degraded the largest state sponsor of terrorism beyond what I thought was possible, probably more to come. Ms. Secretary, 900 pounds of 60% enriched uranium, do we all agree that's what Iran has buried somewhere?
In this format, some of that should be classified, so I wouldn't comment on the exact amount of anything.
Okay, well, it's just pretty well known. They brag about it. Is it possible they could have 60% highly enriched uranium without them cheating in the past?
We know in every context of what Iran has undertaken, they've lied and cheated.
The answer is no. Everything that Obama and Biden did was designed to keep it to a civilian nuclear program. There is no way in hell they can have 60% highly enriched uranium unless they cheat. So everything y'all did failed. And you want to criticize? You failed. You allowed Iran to be a threshold nuclear nation. Everything you did failed. Missiles, Diego Garcia. Did they shoot missiles at Diego Garcia, General Kane, the Iranians?
Yes, sir, they shot a few.
Under the protocols we had in place, were they supposed to be able to do that?
Without reviewing the fine print, I believe the answer is no.
No, they weren't. You failed there. You failed to stop Iran from being a nuclear threshold nation. You failed to stop Iran from having missiles that could go thousands of miles. Why should we listen to you? Bottom line here. China. Does China buy 90% of Iranian oil, Ms. Secretary?
China buys a very large percentage of
Okay,
Iranian
90% is pretty large. So does China buy, are they the largest purchaser of Russian oil and gas?
I would imagine they're up there, Senator.
They are. They're the largest. So President Trump, when you go to China, realize that the person you're talking to is propping up Russia and Iran. I appreciate what you've done in Iran. I appreciate what you're trying to do to end the Russian-Ukraine conflict. Do you agree with me, Mr. Secretary, that of all the countries on the planet, China could have the most influence of ending this war if they chose to?
I think the most influence is in President Trump's hands and what he decides to do, and he'll set the terms of how this.
What if China stopped
buying?
buying?
But ultimately, China has a lot of leverage. You're right.
Yeah, they did. What if they stopped buying 90% of oil from Iran? That's not President Trump. That's up to China. Do you support putting tariffs on China if they continue to buy Russian oil and gas?
Tariffs is not my lane, but anything we can do to put pressure on people, I usually support.
Well, do you believe that when we put pressure on India by a 25% tariff for buying Russian oil, they kind of backed off?
I would say I've had a front row seat to the efficacy of tariff policy, yes.
Yeah, I think it works, guys, and we're on the breakout here in a minute of having a bill that would give the president ability to tariff the largest purchasers of Russian oil and gas, and I hope he will use it. So I just want to, Pakistan. Are you aware of reports that Pakistan are allowing their bases to be used to park Iranian aircraft? General Kane?
Sir, I've seen one report on that.
Well, is it accurate?
Sir, I think based on the variety of classification matters.
Let me just say, do you agree if it is accurate, that is sort of inconsistent with it being a peace mediator?
Sir, I wouldn't want to comment on that based on the ongoing
Thank you.
negotiations and Pakistan's role.
Secretary Hexton, if the mediator is allowing reconnaissance aircraft in Iran to be parked in Pakistani air bases, do you think that's consistent with being a fair mediator?
I wouldn't want to get in the middle of these negotiations. I want
Well, I
maximum
do.
efficacy
I
for our
want to get in the
people.
middle of these negotiations. I don't trust Pakistan as far as I can throw them. If they actually do have Iranian aircraft parked in Pakistan bases to protect Iranian military assets, that tells me we should be looking maybe for somebody else to mediate. No wonder this damn thing is going nowhere. So, I appreciate all you've done. I'm very supportive of it. But when it comes to Pakistan and China, enough already. Thank you.
A Senate hearing took an unusually candid turn when a senator who opened by praising the military operation against Iran pivoted sharply into a series of pointed challenges that cut across multiple fronts: nuclear failure, Chinese economic leverage, and a blistering indictment of Pakistan's credibility as a peace mediator. The senator opened with genuine enthusiasm about the military campaign, calling the degradation of Iran's capabilities spectacular and beyond what he thought was possible. But the compliments ended quickly. He zeroed in on a specific and alarming data point: roughly 900 pounds of 60% enriched uranium that Iran had reportedly buried somewhere. He asked the Secretary of Defense whether everyone in the room agreed that was the reality on the ground. The secretary declined to confirm classified specifics, but the senator pressed forward anyway, noting that Iran itself had bragged about the enrichment levels publicly. Then came the real thrust of his argument. He asked a simple logical question: is it even possible for Iran to possess 60% highly enriched uranium without having cheated on its nuclear commitments? The answer from the administration's own side was no. It is not possible. That enrichment level has no legitimate civilian application, which meant, the senator argued bluntly, that everything the Obama and Biden administrations did to contain Iran's nuclear program had failed. Iran had been allowed to become a threshold nuclear state on their watch. He was not subtle about it. He told critics of the current operation directly that they had no standing to lecture anyone given that failure. He then turned to Diego Garcia, the critical American military installation in the Indian Ocean. He asked whether Iranian missiles had struck there. General Kane confirmed that a few had. The senator asked whether that was supposed to be possible under existing defense protocols. The general said no. The senator filed that away as another failure and moved on. China became the next target. The senator laid out a stark economic reality. China purchases approximately 90% of Iranian oil. China is also the largest purchaser of Russian oil and gas. That means the single country with the most economic leverage over both America's adversaries is Beijing. He asked the secretary whether China could have more influence than anyone in ending the Russia-Ukraine war if it chose to exercise that leverage. The secretary acknowledged China holds significant leverage while crediting President Trump's role as well. The senator then made a legislative point. He and colleagues were working on a bill that would give the president authority to impose tariffs specifically on the largest purchasers of Russian oil and gas. He pointed to what happened with India. When faced with a 25% tariff threat for buying Russian energy, India pulled back. He argued the same pressure applied to China could work, and he wanted that tool in the president's hands. The final, and perhaps most combustible portion of the hearing concerned Pakistan. The senator asked whether reports were accurate that Pakistan was allowing its military bases to be used to park Iranian aircraft. General Kane said he had seen one such report, but declined to confirm given classification concerns. The secretary similarly deflected, citing ongoing negotiations. The senator was done being diplomatic. He said plainly that he did not trust Pakistan, and that if Iranian military aircraft were genuinely being sheltered on Pakistani soil, while Pakistan positioned itself as a peace mediator, then Pakistan had disqualified itself from that role entirely. He suggested it was time to find someone else to mediate, and that the lack of progress in negotiations was no surprise given those circumstances. He closed by reaffirming his support for what had been accomplished, while making clear that on China and Pakistan, patience had run out.